New York City Mayor Eric Adams and the city's Department of Education Chancellor David Banks made an announcement on education during a Thursday press conference. The mayor unveiled Project Pivot, which he described as a, quote, upstream approach to education. According to Adams, Project Pivot will, quote, bring community-based organizations into our schools to connect with young people at a pivotal moment in their development. Adams noted that the project will specifically help children in Black and brown communities.
Thank you. This is just a significant moment for those of us who know that there's a term called intangibles. Intangible, those things that are not commonly seen but are very much attached to the educational experience. And far too often, we go in and we want our children to be academically smart and not emotionally intelligent. By the time they sit in the classroom, their experience to get there is different from other students. When you're leaving a household where you didn't understand if you were going to have a meal or not, if you just experienced violence the day before, if you are dealing with some learning issues, just some emotional issues. And by the time a little Bakem gets in the classroom, he has to navigate all of those things so that he can start the process of learning. And that has been historically ignored. We constantly ask, why can't Johnny read? Because maybe Johnny has missed meal cramps. Or maybe Johnny just lost his friend or loved one the day before because of gun violence. And no one dealt with those intangibles, those external things that impact the internal learning experience. Well, today, Chancellor Banks and his team and the partners from all of these local community-based organizations that have been historically locked out of the educational experience, today we have pivoted and we have opened the doors to the entire village to educate our children. This is a significant change in how we educate in the city, and it's quite different than what you have witnessed in the past. And I cannot thank the Chancellor enough for seeing the importance of this, and some of the men and women who have been here for years saying that we could do a better job and produce a better qualitative product than what we have seen over and over and over again. And today with Project Pivot, we are going upstream to prevent the downstream problems that we are facing. An upstream approach to education, an upstream approach to violence, an upstream approach to dealing with the issues that our young people are facing all over the city in general, but specifically black and brown communities. There is no greater abandonment and betrayal than the $38 billion we spend every year. And people are eating off the dysfunctionality of our children, and they have normalized that our children can't learn, and we say no to that. So this project will bring community-based organizations into our schools to connect with young people at a pivotal moment in their development through counseling, mentoring, violent intervention, and turn towards reaching these young people, turning them towards reaching their full potential. We're thinking about our children and the right they have to succeed, like all children have that right to succeed. And in the long run, we will keep them safe and keep their schools safe. But safety is not a police job, it is a village job, and the village is here today. And don't be frightened by the drum beats. It's all right. It's all right. The drums are awakening our spirits. That's right. And we understand that. And what we must fully understand, we cannot be afraid to do the things that work. We can't be afraid because it doesn't fit into the traditional pathway of education. The traditional pathway got us 65% of black and brown children never reaching proficiency. The traditional pathway got 30% of our children at Rikers Island being dyslexic. The traditional pathway has failed us. We are now going over the traditional pathways of how we have a full scope of empowering every aspect of our children, their full development, and completely acknowledging that. We're going to bring CBOs who are also going to maximize the use of our school buildings. Talked about this all the time. 7 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., we tell our children, welcome. 3 p.m., we say, get out and don't come back. No, that changes. We're going to do what we did in Brooklyn with extended use. We're going to find the dollars to keep our school buildings open so we can use the gymnasiums, the classrooms, the swimming pool in some of our buildings, the fields that they can use. And so it is imperative that we acknowledge the fullness of what we're doing to develop the fullness of our children. And the 5 pillars of Project Pivot, those 5 pillars are purpose, integrity, voice, optimism, and tenacity.
Yes. That's right.
We tear down tenacity and we dim the lights of our children because they want to be tenacious. We look at it as being too brash, too outspoken. That is part of the spirit that they may have. You know, being outspoken does not mean that you don't have a full understanding of what you're doing. There was an outspoken 3rd grader in PS 140 Queens. Now we call him the mayor of the city of New York. Being outspoken. Being outspoken. And so I just want to turn the mic over to the Chancellor. I know this is just an important day for him because this is something that he envisioned. And to see a vision materialize and come to full use is what you always ask for. You know, I'm so proud of this Chancellor and his team and all of these men and women who I've soldiered with for years. We fought for me to become the mayor so that we could implement these programs that no one thought about before. And so give yourselves a hand, give our Chancellor a hand. Let's pivot in the right direction. Chancellor Banks.